everybody. Before starting today's topic, let's sit together silently for about half a minute. Okay. So hello again. Good to see you, although I'm not really seeing you. But anyway, um, so I chose a topic, blessings from past Zen masters, as a topic of the day. Blessings from past Zen masters. And I'll start it by quoting the great Tangenroshi, Harada Tangenroshi, who passed away in 2018. He was a Japanese Zen master who I was also had a great pleasure and fortune to meet him in 2005. I've discussed meeting him in other videos, but maybe I'll make a video of meeting him alone because it's a very significant event in my life. But Tangenroshi, before he passed away, he said this: "When I die, I won't go anywhere. I will be just here, and call me anytime. I will respond." I'll read it again. "When I die, I won't go anywhere. I will be just here, and call me anytime. I will respond." So back in the day when I met him in 2005, it was, I will not tell the whole story in this video, but I will just say that it was a life-changing event. I had done a formal Zen training before that for about 3 years, and I had just left Sogenji Monastery where I trained with Shodo Harada Roshi, and I was on my way to live in Tokyo where I wanted to train with my Zen master who was closest to my heart, Terayama Roshi. So I went to his place for 10 days, and it was very, very significant meeting for me personally at that point, and his meeting changed my life. I'm not exaggerating, it really did. And the reason for that, I remember thinking in those days that I had met a number of Zen Roshis and priests of different types in Japan, Buddhist priests, Shinto priests. I had met few Western Zen teachers, but Tangenroshi's presence and energy was completely different than the rest of them. Completely different. I'm not exaggerating or dramatizing it in any way, but his energy really was different. And that left a lasting impression. And then during these years, when many years, and when I focused on tantric practices, Mahamudra, Chokchen, Vajrayana, I at some point realized why Tangenroshi was so unique, was so different from others. And it was because he was a living Buddha. He was a living Buddha. He wasn't only somebody who had just few Kensho experiences and together with Kensho's, uh, gradual awakening, gradual purification, but he was a living Buddha. And actually his nickname was the Old Buddha. Maybe I should have put his calligraphy behind me because he gave me one, but I'll show it later. But what I mean to say is that he was very unique, and through Vajrayana study, through the study of Tantric yogas, I realized that it was because he was an actual living Buddha, or Mahasiddha, like is said in Sanskrit language. So then years later, when I saw this quote of his, when I die, I won't go anywhere, I will be just here, and call me anytime, I will respond. It's a very unusual thing for a Zen master to say. At least from the top of my head, I don't remember. Maybe some ancient Zen masters have said similar things, but not, as far as I can remember, not that directly. Not that directly. So call me anytime and I will respond after he's passed. And the thing is that, after those years, when I had already practiced Vajrayana, I immediately realized that this is something that only a living Buddha can say. Only a fully enlightened being can say that, because, if one is not a fully enlightened Buddha, after you die, then sooner or later some things will happen, and because of those things, karmic causes that haven't been extinguished, it is impossible to respond anytime. So this is why I felt that Tangen Roshi's quote, what he said, was very unique, and especially to a Zen Buddhist master. And I've thought about this over the years quite a lot. I've thought about meeting Tangen Roshi, how it was like, what his transmission, I'll call it transmission, but there was this, he was always kind of transmitting, because he was in that pure enlightened energy all the time, and there were no gaps. So there was kind of like a transmission of Buddha's mind and Buddha's heart, Buddha's energy taking place all the time. But this is something that only Buddhas have that capacity. You can't make such a promise, you can't say such things without knowing, without having certainty about what you're capable of. And this led me to think about something, every morning in every type of Zen, Chan or Son, in temples, in centers, in morning service, in training sessions, the so-called Teidai Dempo, the names of the lineage masters is chanted. Like the first, it's usually actually, at least in Rinzai Zen temples, it's the first thing that is chanted in the morning service, early in the morning. Teidai Dempo Busso no Myogo, it's called in Japanese, which is like a long list of the names of Buddhist masters, particular to that lineage where one is training. So, it begins with the names of the Buddhas before Buddha Shakyamuni, and then, of course, including Shakyamuni, and after Shakyamuni Buddha, there are 18 generations of Indian masters. And then comes the first Zen patriarch Bodhidharma, who took Zen teachings to China. The famous Bodhidharma, Indian yogi, Indian master who went to China, and there are lots of stories of Bodhidharma, but he's most famous as having trained in Shaolin temple, which still exists. But in the Teida Dempo recitation, Bodhidharma is the first Chinese Zen patriarch. And after him, there's a long list of Chinese Zen masters or Chan masters. And then in Japanese lineage, Japanese Rinzai lineage, there is a long list of Japanese Zen masters to present day. So this is the first one. First, it's not really a prayer, it's like a veneration that is chanted in all Zen temples, monasteries, and in all Zen groups also in the West. And of course, students recite according to their lineage. So it's not the exact same recitation everywhere. You chant the names of the masters particular to your own lineage. And the way how, in the morning service, there is a recitation of Heart Sutra, there is recitation of other sutras, like usually just parts of sutras, like Lotus Sutra recitation. There are short prayers chanted, as well as Bodhisattva vows, for example. And of course, refuge, threefold refuge. So these are practiced every morning in every day. But the way how it is done in Zen Buddhism is that I have never heard a Zen teacher or a Zen master point out that there is an energetic element to these prayers. So the way how it's chanted is that you just chant through Teida Dempo, through different sutras, through different mantras, dharanis, and then you stand up, do 3 bows, and leave the room. So there is no, when I say that there is an energetic element to all these prayers and chants, this energetic element is not pointed out, and it's completely left, how do you say in English, without regard. It is not pointed out, it is not taken in, it is not felt, it is not taken use of. And I could tell you examples of this. I've seen this over the years when I've gone to different temples, monasteries, Zen groups that do these practices and other practices such as ordination, that there is this immense charge, these immense blessings in the air when people practice. But this charge is not, it's ignored. And, having said that, it kind of varies from teacher to teacher, but also it varies if you compare Soto Zen, especially modern Soto, with Rinzai Zen. It varies how much lineage or a particular teacher discusses of energetics. Okay? But nevertheless, they do speak of energetics to some degree, at least some degree. They will speak of Tanden or Damtien or Hara, like it's also called in Japanese, and they will speak of Ki energy. Ki is Chi in Chinese and prana in Sanskrit. So they will speak about dantians or tandens and ki, such basic things. But like I said, it varies from teacher to teacher and lineage to lineage how extensively this discussion of energetics in Zen is. But I also have to say that compared to tantric yogas, it is even in lineages where energy, ki, prana, chi is discussed a lot in Zen, it's still quite little. It's not that profound of a discussion or as thorough discussion as in tantric yoga in Vajrayana. But nevertheless, this energetic element, this blessing element, is in Zen also. I remember talking to a friend of mine, good friend of mine, who trained in the same monastery where I trained, and his experience of working with koans was that, koans are these, if I say riddle, it's not correct, but let's say Zen riddles, that you contemplate and work through energetically, through your body, through your mind. And, there are these different koan collections, where different Zen masters of the past, have presented their own koans. And I remember this friend of mine who used to be a Zen monk, he said that, for example, when contemplating Joshu's Mu koan, which is probably the most widely spread koan that people practice and people know about, and then when he was working with koans from other Zen masters, he could feel the presence of these Zen masters, these Zen patriarchs, even if they lived in ancient China something like 1200 years ago. So he said that he could clearly feel that when he was working with a Joshu's Mu, he could feel the presence of Joshu. When he was working with Hakuin's sound of one hand, for example, he could feel Hakuin's presence. That there was this energetic felt sense, very clear felt sense of a presence of a Zen master. And so coming back to the topic, blessings from past Zen masters, there is an energetic element in a Zen practice. Maybe I'll say I have a couple of other examples that came into my mind about, how teacher and Sangha can ignore or disregard the element of blessings in services, in prayers, but it is there. And I kind of started feeling after my Zen training years and taking up tantric practice, I started feeling that it is very unfortunate that these blessings from enlightened masters, from Buddhas, is ignored and disregarded. I felt that it is unfortunate that it is not understood that this charge, this felt living presence of these Zen masters is there in people's everyday practice. Every day, these masters of each particular lineage, and I've seen this happen in so many training places that I know it takes place, but every day their presence is ignored. I don't think it is purposefully ignored, but just because nobody points out that this charge is there, it is ignored. So, coming back to Tangenrossi's quote, when I die, I won't go anywhere. I will be just here and call me anytime. I will respond. After his passing, he won't go away, he won't disappear. I will be just here and call me anytime. I will respond. Even from the dead, so to speak, you can call to him and he will respond. How will he respond? Some ghost appearing, or all of a sudden, um, what do you call, like a painting from a wall dropping down as a ghost? He will respond. How will he respond? How will an enlightened master, a Zen master like Tangenroshi, who was just here a few years ago, who so many people, myself including, and so many others of my generation of practitioners and previous generation of practitioners, so many have met him and trained with him, but he's not physically here anymore. He's not physically here. And it's another discussion where he might be at the moment when he has passed away. But nevertheless, he said, with this, he had such a beautiful energy, so clear, so soft. And he was chuckling all the time, smiling all the time, laughing all the time, bubbling with joy and love and softness all the time. With that same energy, it was that same man who said, when I die, call me anytime and I will respond. How will he respond? How? Will he appear in a ball of light from sky, from heavens, from somehow mystically appear in a ball of light, radiate light and give some special message? What kind of message would that even be? I'm kind of joking a little bit. Nothing like that. How do the Buddhas respond? How do the Buddhas respond? I think that when we discuss revitalized Zen, this is a thing that needs to be looked at and revitalized. Why? Well, I hope you have the great fortune to meet a living Buddha, whether from Zen Buddhist tradition or any other tradition, but I hope you have a fortune to meet somebody who has no gaps, who rests in this beautiful clarity, softness, groundedness at all times. Because when somebody is like that, it is completely different compared to other people, compared to ordinary samsaric beings or even advanced meditators and Zen teachers. It is completely different, completely. There is a huge difference between when somebody is still on the way and when somebody has reached the end point, has reached the other shore. Huge difference. Huge difference. I have met a couple of living Buddhas in my life, and I feel extremely fortunate that I was able to meet one of those Buddhas since I was 24 years old, and many times since that. And it is life-changing. It is life-changing. I am not exaggerating or dramatizing at all. It is life-changing. To me, it's somebody who is effortlessly present with their body, with their mind, without gaps, without shadows, with nothing lacking. Nothing lacking. Kind of like the presence of the sun, the effect of the sun in the sky, gives life to our whole planet, life on our planet. That is how enlightened masters like Tangen Roshi and many in the Teidai Dempo, in the lineage, Zen lineage, have been and still are. Still are. That's the whole point. So I think that when reciting Teidai Dempo, that list of 90 names, it can be done, and is often done as a gesture of veneration, gesture of respect. But there is an energetic element. And if we start practicing Teidai Dempo in a bit different way, being open and receptive to these two blessings of these past Zen masters from before Shakyamuni's time, and including Shakyamuni, Indian patriarchs, Chinese patriarchs, Japanese patriarchs, it can have a great impact, and great realizations, awakenings can come from that. Great insights can come from that. So again, when Tangen Roshi says that after his passing, we can call him any time and he will respond, how will he respond? How will he respond? This we can all contemplate and experiment with. Call for Tangen Roshi, call for Huineng, sixth patriarch, call for Bodhidharma, Shakyamuni Buddha, Nagarjuna. Invite and see how they respond. And what is the effect of their response. Thank you very much. Sorry about the technical difficulties in the beginning. Fortunately, I had this second camera recording, so the recording was lost like it was with my first camera. It's always like this with technical devices, but thank you very much for listening, and see you in the next one.